Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Northeast Corner, episode 19 to be precise. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Houdini Hutchin. I am joined by the other two-thirds of the hosts of the podcast.
Big Bad John!
John Rogan himself, Fact Checker John, and Podcast Paul, also codenamed as the baggage handler.
Buckle finger.
And today's episode is brought to you by, is what we would say if we had any sponsors.
I know.
We still don't have them.
I know.
Still need to get Mad Dog to sponsor.
I know, right? Like we haven't even. That can be one for Seshcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay tuned for that.
But we want Super Dry. I mean, Ryan's out here representing today.
Also
today.
in the Super Dry.
Yeah, come on, Super Dry. Something.
So it's been, 9 episodes since we've been all together?
Yeah.
Last one, the Beach Bar one, did pretty well.
It did.
We actually got some feedback. You are now known as the chap with the hat.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, of course. My,
I suppose
my
I am
pal
a chap.
from down south. Yeah, he messaged me on Facebook, totally out of the blue, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I quite enjoyed that your podcast." He was like, "The Beacher Talk, that chap with a hat is well funny." And I was like, "The funny thing is that the lad that sent me this, I can actually picture his voice when he's saying it, and like the way that he writ it, the chap with a hat is well funny. It's exactly how he would actually speak and say it, just with a Plymouthien accent."
That's t-shirt number 10.
That's
coming
it.
on to the northeastcorner.com, coming soon.
Chap with a hat.
It's not actually coming soon, but you
It's
got to keep it out there,
One day. We've got to be dreamers.
Sort of band.
Trademarked.
I'd buy one.
So yeah, we're finally back doing a podcast all together, and it's quite appropriate that it's another local issue.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the Beach Bar wasn't an issue; it was more just local. Whereas today it's going to be quite
Yeah.
We're waging war on seagulls today.
Bats with wings.
Yes. Flying vermin. And I was swooped by one just... on
How
the way
appropriate,
here.
right?
Yeah, they must have known what we were going to be talking about. I thought, no, what? That guy's getting swooped.
one last swoop.
That chap with the hat's getting a swooping.
I'm taking that hat. He'll just be the chap.
But yeah, I hate them, man. I full on hate them. I mean,
they're just-
this year making it back to Scotland and being around for nesting season, and I even had them on my own roof. And oh my god, like I've had enough. I've had enough. You know.
See, I used to slow down in the car when I was driving if there was one, but see, I don't know, drop a gear. If I hit it, I hit it. It's doing the world a bloody favour.
So I guess the title of this podcast is going to be "Does Moray have a seagull problem?" But it's kind of a bit,
We
of
have
a
a
redundant
massive problem
question at
with
this
seagulls.
point, right?
Massive problem.
So when was the first time all of us got attacked by a seagull? What I can remember, I was about 17 because I never really used to notice them until the first time I got attacked. Now it's just like a daily occurrence over a 3-4 month period yearly.
Yeah.
So
That's I don't know, probably 10 or 11. Just out in the skateboard.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking much younger. Like yeah.
But yeah, just that, or swooping us and whatnot. And if you had remember Doof, he got in the local paper because he was attacked by a seagull and it stole his sandwich.
was there just no news going on that week?
I mean, I've heard of them stealing chihuahuas as well. But you know.
But yeah, his wee picture in the paper was just him stood with a sandwich with a big smile on his face, and I believe he still gets ripped for it to this day. So sorry, Dave.
Oh, be bumped. I mind in high school. I kind of mind what year we were all in, and there'd been. We're gonna just make it basic. So on a Monday, our friend Liam Day, the good lad that he is,
Love him.
he has. I don't understand what this boy ever done to them, but they hate him. They hate him, and every time they seen him in the quad, the quad was inside the high school little kind of
Quadrangle.
Well, it's kind of like your little meet and greet area during your break, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just go outside and chill,
Fight.
but still be confined by the school.
Fighting against life,
Yeah.
if not the
That's it.
seagulls.
And then, yeah, but-
get shot on by seagulls.
Well, yeah. Every day he came out, he would literally come out them doors from the cafeteria and pooped on straight away by a seagull. And this went on for 3 days. And on the Thursday, we all sat there and they went, "All right, who's going to get pooped on the day? And I went, oh, pound on duck. I literally just went a pound on duck.
We had a sweepstakes going on.
We did. I won £7 because of that boy. That boy was a legend. My lunch was awesome. My lunch was banging.
I suppose subjectively a legend. I doubt he views himself as a legend for taking a bullet.
He full on. I think by the end of it, you know what Duck was like. He could take anything as a laugh, and by the end of it, I think even he realised he was like, they've just got it out for me, and he would just laugh it off, the good lad that he is, Ken. Yeah. But oh my God, I did feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I don't think
4 days on the trot, pooped on by a seagull every day school.
A guy that I know that works in construction was saying that someone he was working with, they're working in Frasenborough. So this just shows us kind of more of a coastal problem rather than Moray. But we're in Moray, so we're only going to talk about Moray, apart from the one with the Chihuahua, which is where we'll get into it a bit. Yeah. But a guy that was wearing a high vis, right? You know, construction site, whatever. Yeah, and apparently, was
safety
like,
first. And all
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
Because a high vis jacket is going to stop a forklift falling on you.
At least it'll have seen you.
It's definitely not.
So it's
armor,
liable in court. Just like some forklift in a stand with like a suit and a bow. So the guy was like moving, I don't know, construction stuff, concrete, whatever it was.
Pallets of stuff.
Yeah, pallets.
Wooden pallets.
Aye, we'll just go with that. It was something. He was transiting.
E-pal pallets.
He was transiting.
Trademarked.
Something. And next thing you know, crossed the jacket. So he was like, "Oh, God's sake!" So he like took it out, right. Guy had like a jumper on underneath. Like half an hour after their lunch, went to go back and get a pallet again. Literally, as soon as he went down, it's like precision airstrikes, man.
Seagull, a wee machine gun bomb again.
Well, this is going back not even that long ago. This must have been about two months ago. I was, you know, the wee laney that joins North Coast Sea up to like the Sunbank place.
Yeah.
Well, I came up there, and I'd not had an issue there at all. Like, not one issue. And this is all happening to me in the one bloody same day. So I woke up there, and this seagull, I can't see it because I come out the end of the alley, not been bothered. But the seagull that's behind me on this roof, like back here, it's full on. Like, I didn't even know he was coming. The only reason I knew I was going to get hit in the face with a seagull was because this guy behind me went, "You better duck." And I looked, and literally it was like that scene in movies where there's some massive flying thing coming at you, but you kind of see what it is because the sun's directly behind it. And I'm just like, oh, beep. Just like, that's it. I've ducked. I've grabbed everything. Because that thing was not going to stop, and it did not stop. It full on just was going to dive bomb my face. And I was like, ooh, yeah, bugger. Went into like our pals who like live in the area, and then I came out, and for some reason I basically kind of forgot how traumatic that little event was that day. Was walking home, and the same beep on top of that roof. He just eyed me up, and he watched me come in, and he just decided to just come at me from a distance, and I was like literally looking at him like, we're doing this. So that was it. Off came the bag. Off came the rucksack. I was holding it by the top handle and just whoosh. So I went for him. I missed him, unfortunately, but he flew away, and I was like, I won this one, you little bastard.
It's crazy because like experts say like, oh, they'll just come near you to start with, and it's like, you've clearly not been to Lawson, my friend. They go for the jugular real quick.
They don't fuck about.
There isn't none of those warning signs or that. They're like, oh, it's go time.
They wait for you to put your wheelie bins out, and then they're like, you know, it's like the mafia's watching you. They're waiting for that weak moment where you leave the loot alone, and they just come in and ram raid. Yeah, like full on. If your bag is poking out or your bin, it's all over the street.
Yeah, it's
all over the street.
I don't.
And by the way, the bins are lately.
Yeah,
they're not as frequent, so it's a pain, and it's getting worse and worse because even public bins are the same, okay? And they're at public bins. We've all watched them, even with these so-called letterbox openings, which are supposed to reduce the seagulls getting in. Are you taking the mick?
I don't understand that. It's just why they're still gonna get in.
They're gonna do it. Of course, they're gonna get in.
I seen an article from, I believe it was the Press and Journal, of Bucky reveals seagull-proof bins in fight against seagulls, and I shared this and was like, I've literally seen a seagull pull an empty crate of Stella out of a bin with a smaller gap than the one that is
a seagull after my own heart.
No, I was outside Lawson Community Centre, right? The person I was with went into the community centre to do something, and I was waiting in the car. This seagull, was it like this? It was like, you know, those one of those square bins with a flap.
Yeah.
It was like not attacking one of them, but it was hanging on to one of them, and I was like, "What the heck is it trying to pull out?" And then the next thing I seen was like this white cardboard thing, full crate. Like I'm talking like 16 crate of Stella. It was totally empty. It wasn't like necking bottles of Stella. We don't want to go back to the nun wasn't in the area, so it wasn't.
Seagulls are violent enough that they don't need any cans.
Yeah, and it just like it just wolfed this cardboard down. I was like these things will literally eat anything.
I wouldn't have liked to be the one that got hit with that shit.
Yeah.
And do you know what else I've noticed? See, even in our town, great old Lossiemouth, in certain areas, the seagulls are worse, or like they only attack if there's something present, like a certain something. And in some bank place, that way area, if you have a dog or a pet on a lead,
They swooped my dog and they swooped my cat. My cat's actually, I'm very proud of my cat for this. The murdering this little turd. We have had. He's brought back a few baby seagulls. I'm like, oh, I don't do that. But then inside, I'm like,
good man, dealing with the problem.
good effort, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Here's a wee treat. You're a bad boy. There's a treat.
There was a guy at a pub, right? I was talking to about this numerous amounts of years ago, probably like 2015 or something. And we were talking about the seagull
Did he start rapping at you?
No, not this time. It wasn't another freestyle beat that was going down.
Like DJ,
totally forgot about that. So the guy I was saying that I was like, I can't be doing this. Why did the council never do anything about it? And we'll bring this up also because they don't do anything about it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So he was saying there is something that works though. I was like, okay, well, and he was like, apparently you kill like 4 of them and hang them up on your your clothesline in the garden. It works. And I was like, yeah, but is that not really illegal? And he was like, yeah, but it works.
Are we supposed to be like Dracula here, like Vladimir, you know, like putting people up on stakes outside your castle? Stay away.
Just a line of seagull heads.
I hate to break it to him, but if there was some kind of effigy that we made out of dead seagulls in a garden, I think they would kind of know who'd been taking them out. You know, like,
you killed my son. You killed my dad. We're going to get you.
Man, I got my rifle taken off me when I was 13. I was in the bedroom window shooting seagulls.
Did you see that one in Elgin that got shot through the head with a nail?
That was going to be the next thing I was going to bring up. When I used to work with, well, I didn't work. I worked with, I helped him out. He just started his own business and he just bought a new nail gun.
Right.
Take the guard down. You have a gun. A nail gun. He shot a seagull. It was up on the roof, across the road from his house. He actually shot it right in the head.
Yeah.
This was, I was about 18, so 12 years ago.
Okay, so it wasn't the recent one.
No.
There was one a couple of years ago. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't like them because of the way they act, but I am going to feel empathy for one that's chilling with a nail in his head. Like,
it's it's never nice.
I do feel sorry for the baby ones.
Yeah.
Like the houses behind mine, and even on the roof of my house, they like to nest, but there's nails. Council put nails up.
It's like supposed to try to deter them, isn't it? But it doesn't work.
All it's done is basically
give them sturdier foundations.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it.
What we're going to get rid of is, but we're going to give you foundations to build your houses.
That's what they do, man. And I've noticed on my roof, right, it's not even like the nest was shielded by anything. It's literally halfway down the slope. Like, it's not behind the chimney or beside the chimney. It's in front of the chimney. So there's no actual protection because the wind, when it hits my house, it hits where my bedroom is, which is the front end of the house. And I'm literally, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna wake up and there's gonna be dead bloody embryos all over my friggin' front garden because it's all like none of it's soft landing. If something falls off that roof, it's hitting concrete. Yeah, we've got like bricks in the front garden. Oh me, and never happened. Somehow they've managed to just make this nest stay in place right in the center of the bloody roof. And we were supposed to have a sky dish put up, and literally we had such a nightmare with it in the beginning that on the 3rd visit they finally were gonna do it, and they were like, "You've got a bird's nest," and we were like. So, but we didn't have one on the 1st visit, did we? But you didn't friggin' bring all what you needed to get it done. So
they stopped construction on something in like the West Coast because there was a seagull's nest where they were meant to be building.
That's what they've done with the Lossy High demolishment. They're not demolishing that massive, the massive old science and HE blocks and all that, and where English and everything was. They're not breaking down that building just yet because of all the nests. That's why everything else around it has gone down, apart from that old massive block. It's like, and that apparently that's why. It's because of the seagulls. I'm sorry, but we all do feel quite strongly that there is a massive problem.
Yeah,
a massive problem with them
Huge.
here. Like, but this is just for us. Like, and like we understand that there's people who come here and they're like, oh, seabirds, yeah, they're great. They're not frigging great when you live here.
Yeah.
And you can't even like let your kids go out in the back garden and play because they're going to end up getting swooped. Because without a doubt, some turd around you hasn't paid money. And we were one of them, unfortunately, you know. We were one of those turds, so we ended up letting them bloody nest on the roof.
Well,
And
that's
it
the thing. You
drives
can't
me
even get the
mental.
nest removed now.
You can't. You have
It's
to. You
illegal,
have to
even
pay
by
for a
paying for a
guy.
third part. No, that used to be, but it got changed last year. Thank
Oh.
you, Chris Packham. You fool. He,
You can say twat.
he,
Coming for you, boy.
That's it. Hate mail. Hate mail.
Might even put a post on Facebook.
You're a poo head.
a strongly worded letter is
Yes.
en route to your location.
With some people who are pretty peeved at you.
But
Was
yeah.
was it him that decided that they were endangered? Or
Well, he kind of championed for it to be put in legislation.
has,
That
has he ever lived with seagulls?
No, he probably
No,
hasn't.
this is the thing. A lot of the people that defend their case do
The
not live in the
irritation for
urban
you,
areas,
mate,
but
is
they're
probably
like
pigeons,
living,
and they're
I don't
nothing.
know, like Somerset or something like that. I don't know. Does
Somewhere
Somerset
nice.
have a bad seagull problem? I don't know.
No.
Anyone from Somerset, give us a shout.
No,
Let's
like
know in the comments.
Yeah.
you know, I live down in Plymouth. That's right on like, you know, the southwest. That's the coastline. And I didn't see there are seagulls there,
Yeah.
but nothing compared to what we have here. And them ones, to be fair, stayed around the bloody harbour.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
ones don't stay around the harbour.
No.
I mean, like, I get that it's kind of our fault that they've become urban, but
yeah.
because I've complained about this numerous of times to the local MSP, MP, you name it, I've complained to it about how, like, we should at least tackle this, because as far as I'm concerned, this problem gets ignored year after year. Like, obviously, tons of people are like, cull, like, get rid of them all, and it's like, okay, there's probably a middle ground somewhere where if we can make them go from like their original habitat to urban, surely we can reverse that procedure.
Yeah.
Do you know, like,
But one of the main ways to do that is to start a cull to show them that coming inland is not the best idea.
Well,
that they
yes.
should-
Yes.
unfortunately.
True.
Don't we need that seagull psychologist?
And yeah,
I'm
but
sure there's
like
one.
without a doubt nowadays, we all know as well, they are not afraid of us. They look at us
Yeah, yeah.
as
Oh.
They see us
basically
as no
part
threat,
of-
yeah.
as part of their food chain because we feed them. Like they look at our rubbish and they just assume we feed them. That's what's brought them inland. That's what's making them flock cities and just lucky we're not a city. Imagine if Lossie was just bigger. You know, like another like say 1,000 or 3,000 houses all around Lossie.
Well, it's
that would
starting
be
to become
wild.
that,
yeah, true.
And
With
when
Elgin-
it does,
between
think
Elgin
about
and
what's
Lawson.
going to happen then.
Yeah.
It's going to be a more noticeable problem
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all the seagulls then, they're not going to be able to fight for certain spots around here. They're just going to nest along here anyway.
Speaking of the gulls fighting, I've seen it right now or before.
Crows, go the crows.
Yeah.
They fight seagulls.
Yes, there's the trees on the camp. Oh, the lack of trees now because I've cut them down because
Whatever stupid
Yeah.
reason that they try to come up with.
stuff.
We're just not a fan of oxygen anymore, it would appear.
That's it. But about 7:30 every night, see all the seagulls coming, all the crows come out the trees, and we just have like a little battle in the
They
sky.
do, man.
It's amazing.
Mon
to
the
watch.
crows.
But sadly, you see a lot more crows falling down than you do seagulls. But
It's probably because they're like outnumbered by like 100 to 1 or something.
Yeah,
like, it's
without a
ridiculous.
Without a
it's
doubt.
like even the dog just sits out in the garden looking. He usually just barks at them,
Yeah.
but he just. I'm not getting involved in that one. Might get my eyeballs pecked out. Date ruined.
So 900 people signed a petition recently here in favour of a cull.
I'm one of them.
I did not know there was a petition, but if there was, I would have signed it.
Yeah, I signed it as well. Because, look, I don't immediately jump to a cull, but the fact that there's literally no other suggestion of how they
We
can
have lived
tackle
with
this
for
problem,
too long.
and it
Far
literally
too long.
gets ignored. Like, there was a seagull dead outside mine like 5 years ago. The council came and took it away. That is now no longer a thing either, because the council say,
Oh, they just leave them.
yeah, they're like, it's not our jurisdiction. And it's like, you're the council of Moray and Mrs. Murray. What do you mean it's not your goddamn jurisdiction?
Do something.
I don't mind if I don't fix the fucking roads.
Yeah.
Just get shot at the seagulls.
Like, it's when they're
I
like,
do mind about the roads because it ruins the suspension and tyres and that my car.
Well, yeah.
more important problems at hand
Yeah.
just now.
Gulls.
100 episode down the road, we'll do the roads. So.
We're cancelled. Don't you think that we forgot about you?
I'm sick of Neil being bounced out my car every time I drive down Queen Street.
And then seeing all the
20
council
miles an
workers
hour.
sat having their like third or fourth break in an hour. And you're like,
Everybody needs a break.
need that many in an hour.
Well, like they say as well, if there was a cull, it would be unhygienic. And I was like, have you seen Lossie recently?
Yeah, exactly.
How many of these like baby seagulls and that get mushed into the road?
I'll put my hand up right now and said I've ran over about 5 this year.
No, but like it's.
I can't feel sympathetic for that because there is.
Well, they're everywhere. Like
and that's it,
you can't avoid them because they're running about the road.
Exactly. I do try and avoid them. Wink.
But that's it. There's certain points where if a baby seagull's in the middle of the road and you've got a car behind you, you can't slow down.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't slow down for a dog or a cat or something like that either, can you?
Oh no, I do though.
Yeah.
That's because we
I
see them
do.
as actual pets. A seagull
Yeah.
is not a pet. A seagull is an infestation of rodents. That's what a
unless
flaming
it's-
seagull is.
Unless, as I was saying earlier, with the toast and the fishing line, you've got a kite.
Wow.
But
There is
a
that.
bit inhumane.
Yeah. Real life kite.
And if you see the state of the roofs, like all this stuff in the last 18 months, like we've got to be more conscious about how we spread disease and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and we're
especially with
literally
COVID
like
as
all
well.
this like E. coli and that's in like their feces is literally painting the town white all over the roofs. There's like there's a street down the road from me. I'll literally show you this after we're finished the podcast and we go for a cigarette and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's literally white.
Yeah,
Because it's just covered in seagull shit.
Are the council going to clean up the bird shite?
But it's unhygienic to take them out.
Are they going to pay for the damages to people's cars? Paint?
Do you know on the base, so the RAF base, I don't know how, I believe it's annually, but they perform a cull of the birds.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Because obviously all the birds end up like flocking inside the hangars. And
Yeah.
They've got aircraft in there, and they can't have this aircraft getting crapped on or having a bird fly up the bloody engine when it's turning on, like that bloody Concorde. You remember all that stuff, and that kept on happening.
Damn it, we should have bought the Buccaneer plane.
Yeah,
Then we
just
could
turn it on.
Then we just put it right smack in the middle of Lossie so everyone gets treated fairly by getting the cull.
If I had
Switch it on.
the 28 grand it was up for sale for, I would have bought it in a jiffy.
Oh, wow.
Don't know where I would have parked it, but I'd have
In
bought
the
it.
middle
We would
of
have
the
thought about
playfield.
that later. I mean, we could have just left it there and said, look, we own it.
Yeah.
And we don't want birds from Lossie coming to Elgin to,
Yeah.
We're just gonna switch it on.
Yeah.
Just deal with it.
And guess what, council? It's your jurisdiction.
Yeah, come move my plane.
So Elgin's had a nest removal scheme that started in 2019. But,
Elgin has. That's great.
yes,
That's great.
but it takes 4 to 5 years to work, apparently, which is like, okay, great.
Why does it take 4 to 5 years?
I do not know. I'm not a seagull expert. I suppose we maybe should have tried to get one on, but
I don't know if there is.
that's a lot of energy just to
don't
get
know.
a seagull expert on, you know?
Oh, there must be seagull experts or psychologists. Because I was my dad was watching a program the other night when I came home for work. It was my cat from hell, and I was just, oh, Dad, how you doing? I said, I'm watching this. Then it came up, cat psychologist. Underneath, and I was like, oh, he looked a bit fruity.
You know you've got to question someone when they're a cat psychologist.
Cats don't bloody listen.
That's
do they?
someone
Mine
that
does.
could be potentially on the run.
My cat, when I'm giving the dog and the cat a treat and get them both at the same time, again, I'll tell Buddy to sit, I'll tell Ollie to sit, and he sits. And I will get video evidence, or I'll just take his round to mine and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Because he does, he sits, he's a good cat. He's a murdering cat, but he's a good cat. He's a good cat.
So, I think it's Vermin Company. There's a local Moray company that does this. They used to do it privately as well. Like we were discussing, you could get nests taken down if you paid for it, and that is now no longer the case unless the council, remember, not their jurisdiction, approves it. So they're paying for this to happen in Elgin, excluding, Lossie, Bucky, Forest, Stodlock even.
All the coastal towns where we actually have the issue.
Yeah.
So, company director. So this is the guy that's the head of this company, and he's now saying the gulls are getting really, really smart to how we're trying to get rid of their nests and stuff.
No.
Fire will do it. Has he thought of that?
It seems like you're like in the shadows, like fire will do it.
Fire.
Burn it all down.
Burn them all. Might smell for a few days, but it's worth it.
Company director Rob Teasdale said, "Gulls are horrendously smart. They're cunning as well. You have no idea how cunning they can be."
Never seen a gull in a suit.
I know, right?
We'll be like night vision goggles on. It's like,
Hello, Mr. Bond.
it's just petting a cat with its wings. a big nice wheelie bin next to it, full of
the wheelie bins.
yeah, full of empty crates of Stella for it to munch on later.
And it's a titled Munchie Box.
They've grown to know people go up and take their nests and eggs away. Well, that's kind of obvious because people are going up and taking their nests and eggs away.
I don't know if I seen somebody do that. I'd be like, they're taking
Good
our
man.
nests and eggs
Good
away.
man.
They're not taking a walk up that.
Jimmy Chong's had the right
three-story
idea.
flat.
Yeah, I see that's open again. I'm presuming under different ownership.
Well,
I don't think that's
probably.
why it closed though. I think you're thinking of Charlie Chan's.
Oh yeah, Charlie Chance.
That's the Badger.
one up-
Jimmy Chung's didn't close down because of Seagull.
Oh, was it Charlie Chan's? Was it?
Charlie Chance.
Yeah,
Apparently-
Jimmy Chung's was a lot more serious what happened there, which we won't go into.
Oh, right.
Is Charlie Chance not a bit of human trafficking as well? Or people?
Well,
smuggling?
you've just revealed it now, so
sorry, yeah.
allegedly, the allegedly button. We need to get that in there.
Apologise.
Allegedly.
Rumbled.
They've grown to know people go up and take their nest and eggs away, so what they do now is lay 2 eggs, wait 10 days, and lay a 3rd egg. They can only lay 3 a season, so now they're keeping one back just in case, which is evil genius that they've managed to evolve into this.
You fucking kidding me?
No, I'm telling you. Seagulls are like, right, you two are going to check the coast is clear, and if it all goes pear-shaped, then,
Yeah, they definitely nest twice. Though. Like,
Yeah.
they go for it twice within the same season. Like I noticed the ones on my roof. They went for it. Eggs were there, chicks were about. Then they disappeared, and then like maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, they're at it again. And I'm like,
It's
oh,
the noise, man.
like really? I'm like, are you joking? But I'm pretty sure that's just to do with our like weather at the moment going like really hot
Yeah.
still, which is
Yeah, it's the noise of them making more baby seagulls. It's horrendous. It's
the absolute squawking for hours.
seagull horizontal
Yeah,
shuffle.
I'm going to bring up the horizontal shuffle. Horizontal shuffle season.
That's
Some-
an idea for a t-shirt.
Horizontal shuffle.
Some
Question mark.
Some people put false eggs down, but they know they're different, so they kick them out. Then another gull will come along and use the same nest. Then householders will wonder why there are chicks. So another gull comes along and is like, "Oh, right, free nest, sweet.
Nice
Here's
house, I'll
3
have it."
eggs." Are they having like surrogates now or something?
I don't know.
God knows, man.
Then he gone.
This is what I mean. It's like, I just refuse to feel any sympathy for them at all. Like, I really do.
But no, I hate them.
Simply, I just hate them.
I hate them.
Really hate them.
They work in tandem when kids go on lunch at schools, with one going high, then another coming low when the child drops the food. Then they'll swap about so they all get a share.
Are the swingers?
I think it's more like army, that isn't it? You go high, I go low.
Like these formations going on. It's like, you go high, take the kid's attention away, and when he drops the Watsons, I'll go get it.
That's something.
Pinky and brain.
That's something I've never had. I've never had a seagull take food from me,
Nah.
but it's been close.
I don't think I've had a seagull actually take food. I've had enough of them swoop me, so I've panicked and just thrown my food to make them leave me alone. Like I remember doing that. Like Jesus, man,
I
it's
don't throw my
terrifying.
food. I'm a wee chunky boy. I like my scram.
Well, so do I. But when there's like what feels like 1,000 seagulls all just just blocked out the sun because they're all swooping you in like formations, like Ryan's going on about, like crisscrossing out the sun. They're like, blind him. I'm just like, ah! So I throw him a wee like little probably chicken satay on a stick, just like ah. And then in my head I'm like, I hope you you're gonna choke on that stick.
You ever seen that guy from Newcastle who put up the YouTube video if he came up to Scotland and went to walk through the cliffs during nesting season? It's one of the most terrifying videos. You ever seen that film, The Birds?
No.
It's like a really old film. And all these
I think Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock, yeah.
Film, yeah.
And it's pretty much exactly like that. He's like, right, I'm gonna go through them, and then like you see them all like above him, like, it's like they don't like me. And like, that I can understand because you went to their land at that point.
Well, yeah.
You're not on Elgin High Street. You're in the cliffs. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you're where they live.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they are where we live.
Exactly.
They live.
They're where they live, and they're here where we live. You know?
Can't have both.
Do you know what one of the first things they tell you to do to avoid getting attacked by a seagull?
Run.
Go where they're not at. Where?
Yeah, exactly. Where?
Any suggestions?
In the middle of a field. You can't even do that because half of them nest in the middle of the field as well. So they tried to do it on the football pitch.
Yeah.
Like you can't get away from them. I know in Elgin by the Burger King, you know, you go up there and there's that fenced off area and it's just basically an empty field. I have no idea what it's used for. I never see anything going in or out. But there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of these buggers. Just all in there and they all nest in there. Oh my God. And you're thinking like, even around that area, you can still see all the nests on the roof, and you're just like, oh my God.
We're right in the mood for a Burger King now.
I know. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't adopt what Charlie Chan used to do.
This episode is brought to you by
It's Seagulls.
Yeah.
The Seagull burger.
One seagull and fries, please.
Hold the beak. So homeowners' hands are pretty tied at the moment because they're very clever the way that the council have done this. Like, it's not our jurisdiction, but if you want to do something about it, but you can't because it's illegal.
What if it's an accident?
Well, I don't know.
Whoops.
I'm telling you, I've considered going out with my fucking pressure washer and just like squirting the bastards off my roof.
My dad did actually. My neighbour Mark, he was hanging his washing it. There's a seagull sitting on the wall. It was pressure washing the slabs anyway, so it's a pressure washer and the seagulls on his Mark. What the fuck you doing, Stevie? Oh, sorry, Mark.
Well, that's not like harming them. It's just like telling them, get, you know.
But no, seagulls caused a problem between my dad and my neighbour. So,
see what you're doing
That's
here,
it, they're
council?
taking it too far now.
that's it. You're noising up.
They're
my
coming
neighbours.
between us now.
That's it.
Shame
Separating
on
us
you
as
for
a
letting
people.
it get this far.
That's it.
Who said they're endangered? Telling you, you're getting some hate mail.
Oh, definitely, man.
Strongly worded letters from all three of us are en route to your location.
That's it.
Via Royal Mail, first class.
Business class.
You're getting sent to space via meme in the post.
Yeah. Get on that rocket with Elon Musk.
No, don't. I'm going with him. Spoke about this.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this in the UFO one.
He's not going.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I'm quite gutted I missed the UFO one.
It was very interesting.
Because I love all that.
We branched off into, I mean, we were questioning whether we were even real at the end.
I know it's just the Matrix or what. We just don't know. I'm not testing it.
Well, in this simulation, we're very angry at the seagull problem. So real or not real?
Seagull-filled simulation.
Maybe the seagulls are like the Agent Smiths.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe it's like
They are the virus that's just multiplied.
maybe it's like Truman Show where they're like, oh, they're even madder now. Put more there.
Oh, it doesn't like that. They're not allowed in that area anyway. Flock it full.
Why do you think that this issue's ignored constantly? I've got a theory in mind.
Because I reckon they just think it's going to cost them too much money.
Exactly.
And they're not. They
They
actually
just
gonna
don't
get
have
anything
money,
from
and
it.
they were like, nah.
Well, allow us to get rid of them ourselves. Either allow us to like actually pressure wash the nests off, regardless if eggs are there or not. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to kill the bird. I'm going to destroy these eggs. Yeah, sure.
Apparently, if you remove a nest from a house, the seagull knows that for the next year and will not nest there.
This is what I mean. Why didn't everyone just go out with pressure washer and get rid of these bloody nests on their roofs? Or even a hose. If you get a hose with a decent attachment, you can annoy a seagull enough to hang about.
Or just get a ladder and go up.
Well, doing that kind of puts you at a weak point, you know. If them buggers try swooping you when you're on a ladder, you're going to freak out a little bit.
They'll always strip you the once though, because if you've got their nest and you just launch it off the roof and go, don't! Bad!
It just stands still, like, oh, god damn it.
Starts
Checkmate.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, but I won't nasty again. It's like, damn right you won't, homeboy.
Get out of here.
Walk on, punk.
Get out
I've
of
just
here.
got an image of you on a roof going, don't.
Thou shalt not nest.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that.
That's gonna be like, you know those videos like you used to watch in like high school where the kid's dad would take his Xbox or something and throw it out the window and he'd be like, no.
Just doing that with a seagull in his nest. Like, I will throw this.
You've been spending too much time on it.
Yeah.
You make too much bloody noise and shoot at a clock in the morning.
I'm on them rigs in the morning.
I'm on the night shift.
I'm on the night shift. That is a legit problem, though. That is legit.
Oh
actually.
yeah, like the
When you're on the night shift and these fuckers are keeping you up from like any time after 6 a.m. You know.
But even if you're like on the day shift, like if you try to go to bed early during like what, May to now, where we're kind of coming towards the end of it, like October's when it kind of like fizzles out.
Yeah.
It's just constant.
It's just noise and
You don't need an alarm clock. Well,
No,
you do because you still you get immune to them after.
You
a
don't
little
need
while.
an alarm clock because you're not getting any sleep. You're just staying up for 48 days straight.
especially when they're making baby seagulls. It's just
It is, and it's like I say, depending on what area of the town you're in, there's
I don't know if I'm just jealous of them.
there's just so
getting
many
some
of them. Well, I mean, they definitely get it on from dusk till dawn. That's for sure.
Not that we pump a seagull.
Definitely
It's a
not.
bit strange, isn't it?
That's definitely. Let's talk about some of the seagull horror stories. You mentioned the Chihuahua one earlier. This happened down the south of England.
Yeah,
something
this
like
happened
that.
down the south of England. Like literally,
I remember reading about that.
I can't actually remember all the details. All I remember is that this little Chihuahua, unfortunately, just went flying lessons one day, and was never found again. So there's only two options essentially. What happened to it? It either got flown so high that the seagull dropped it and it splattered somewhere on a motorway, and then maybe got picked off by the seagull afterwards. I don't know. Or the seagull flew away somewhere with it, managed to keep it. It would have to drop it because as soon as it kind of landed with the Chihuahua would do something. I would like to think.
Run away, I'd like
So,
to think. Or try and run
so it's
away.
got to have obviously picked it up, flown away, and then dropped it somewhere because it can't fly and eat a bloody
Yeah,
eat a Chihuahua
and
at the
it's
same
not like
time.
it's going to raise it its own or something.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
well,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
you know. But this was legit. It made the papers, everything. Like the
Yeah,
lady, the
yeah.
poor lady was devastated. I remember that much.
I imagine so.
And it was actually became more of a warning. It's like, be careful. Like these things are now like they're going for things bigger.
Yeah. Well, there's
Have you seen the video of the seagull eating the rabbit?
rabbit.
The whole
Yeah,
rabbit.
yeah.
And it sits there like triple the size.
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what?
feeling like the Michelin Man.
It probably could have tanned a wee chihuahua.
There's probably not much difference in
'cause
size.
it looked like a big bloody rabbit.
One in Rome
I think it might have been
Neck.
hair.
Yeah, sorry, it was a hare. Yeah.
necked a pigeon and stuff like that as well. So they are, and these things don't chew. These things are just like they're like snakes. They're just like
Don't have teeth.
yeah.
They'll even eat like their own like
Oh, they're
kind.
cut.
Yeah,
babies
yeah.
when they're really young. They will go up and eat them.
When cannibalism
care.
is happening, something's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you just eat the big one? Like, come on.
But Moray Council, not our jurisdiction. That's another T-shirt. That is the first T-shirt that is going on that website.
Moray
Council, not
Not
our jurisdiction.
And they're also
I noted a local story from Bucky. This is in 2015. This is the next one that I've got noted down.
Well, while you try to find that, I've got a quick one. When my brother, he's from Plymouth and he moved up, and the one thing he said to me, and he was up during the winter months, you know, so this wasn't essentially nesting season, you know. This is when
very
they're-
savage in the winter.
But this is my
Yeah,
point. And he came up during the winter months, and in these like 3 to 4 months he was here, he hated it. He hated going to Elgin because he worked in Elgin. Obviously, he'd go in like where the stones are and that in the center of Elgin, and he'd be getting swooped. And my brother he's actually, bless him, he's terrified of birds. And they are quite big up here.
They're not small.
Well, exactly, the massive things. And when they start flying at you, you're like, oh my god, it's an albatross.
That's quite a bit of
I'm about to
momentum.
die. It's a griffin. what is this thing? It's a dragon. Run away. And I can imagine that's exactly what happens in my brother's head. He's just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
And he
think
did,
of
he
the
hated it.
size of them, man.
Terrified him.
That's it. They'll take the under panels off the bottom of your car.
Yeah. No, like,
I know
Sturdy
that. I know
buggers.
that from experience.
but like if you like,
Made it tough stuff up here.
I grew up in the 90s / early 2000s, they were nowhere near the size that they are now.
No.
And I'm not talking like people like, you know, like their kind of body, like their neck and their head. It's all like their structure has grown.
Rhinos with wings.
Yeah.
they are. They're getting hench. Like they are getting hench.
I wouldn't fight one.
Nah. I think did I tell you about the day when I was walking home and out of nowhere, I was walking down Ramsey Lane and they have like a wooden, massive wooden pole and then like power lines are all like tied to the top of it.
Yeah.
And one of these seagulls it was sat on top of it, and I was watching it because it was looking at the power line, and I thought, nah, it's not going to be stupid, Ken. Like, it's not going to be stupid. And out of nowhere, all I hear is like a, and I was like, I just looked up, and this seagull, I'm guessing the wind must have knocked it onto the wire, and it decided to try stand on it, and
or maybe it
went pop.
Stupid as you thought it was.
Yeah, possibly. But it fell down, and everyone was like, oh, it must have died straight away. And I was like, yeah, but the weird thing was it didn't, because it fell down looking like it had died, and then it was up, and it was just nestled itself in the corner, and it was up like, kind of like,
hardly
I don't actually think it knew what had happened to itself. And then in the time that I managed to go home and then walk back, say about half an hour, it was dead. But all the other seagulls were like flying about there. And anyone who walked up that street was getting, like you said, airstriked, and you're just like, you absolute buggers. You actually, I hate that, and you hate it, Ken. It makes you like be like, why should I not walk up this road? I'm a bloody human being. We built these roads, Ken. Like why? Piss off.
One died behind my shed during lockdown. My mum's like, I've got some bad news, and I was like, okay, what was it? None of us got COVID or something of it, and it's like, no, there's a seagull dead behind the shed. I was like, how did it even die behind there? It was like the wind must have blown. But like, the gap between the wall and my shed is about that. This thing was like full Viking eagled, plastered against the wall. Do you know what I mean? Like someone had put it on there with a bloody paint roller, you know. And they got one of the guys that took the nest down when it was legal, of course. Came round and like as he took the nest, and we're like, there's one dead behind the shed for some reason. Any chance you fancy fishing that out as well? And I just remember just opening the bin because I had to go in the bin because like where else is it gonna go? Wow, because remember, not our jurisdiction.
Food waste? I don't know.
Well, I just remember opening it and it was like all kind of like mangled, like
just having a bit of a shit time.
Yeah. He was having a proper hangover. Yeah.
But you know, like for all this hate that I'm spouting, when I was living, I know it's not up here in Moray, unfortunately, but when I was in Gloucester living with my pal, we had a seagull that had managed to like fall down the way that this, I don't know how to explain them here. It's, imagine a house with another house on top of it.
Yeah.
Like, so it felt like a flat, but it was a double-storied flat, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like a house on top of a house.
Yeah.
So we go down a level to go in the front door, and then we'd have to go up a level to go out the back door. But where our kitchen was, it was on like basement level, essentially. And then our back garden was on ground level. That's a better way of like looking at it. And yeah, so we had this ground level area which was fenced off, but it dropped all the way down to the basement area, it was all outside. Mm-hmm. And this seagull, we just noticed one night when we were out the back for a fag, and I looked down, like, oh my god, we've got a seagull here. Or I think it might have even been my pal who pointed it out. It's, oh, we've got a seagull stuck, and I was like, oh, what? I was well against trying to help it. Like he was like, we need to put some bread and some water out, you know, just in case. I was so against it, but you know what? The bloody thing didn't even drink or eat any of it. It just nestled itself in the corner and was like, I'm pretty sure it was quite happy just to sit there and die.
Yeah.
So we ended up phoning.
Isn't there's like something behind that? Like animals know when they're about to die, so they find like a quiet place to like die.
Well, that I don't know if that's what it was. Because it was injured. It was definitely injured. It didn't try to fly away, but it'd been there for like 3 days. Well, no. It was on, I think it was on the Friday night. And it was there Saturday. And then we were a bit like, right, we might need to call someone. And they came around on the Sunday and they put it in the wee little cardboard box and went away with it.
She's got a spade and put it in his bloody misery.
Well, you think about that, but then it's a clean up and then it's the guilt. You know, you're going to feel a bit guilty. Like, no,
there was like one out running about out there, right? And I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? Because it was like sitting next to a bin. So I was like, fuck, like a cat's going to come along and fucking
munch on it.
Yeah. Fucking wreck its world or some shit. So I was like, fuck, right. So I phoned the SSCP, whatever it's called. The RSPCA, but for Scotland, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And I was like, hello. And they were like, hello. I was like, there's a seagull with a broken wing here. And they were like, oh dear. And I was like, are you going to send someone out? And they were like, yeah. So I was like, right, cool. Like, she was like, can, like, you watch it? And I'm like, well, how long is it going to be? And they were like, well, it could be anything from like 45 minutes to 2 hours. And I'm like, what? You're expecting me to stare at my window at this thing? What am I meant to do if a cat comes along?
I'm going to tell the cat no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to go above and beyond to
Save a flying fucking rat.
yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So like, next thing I know, it was like going mental in the car park. It was like proper scurrying about, everything, like his wing hanging off, like dragging along the ground and stuff. Some like something out of Wacky Races. Do you know what I mean? Like it was so if that song like Catch the Pigeon was playing, that would be so appropriate for what this single was doing. And then I couldn't find it again. And then it came and was walking past mine, and I was like, just come in the garden, god damn it. And it wouldn't. And then the SSCP, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The Royal Prevention of Birds.
Yes.
Not prevention.
It should
Protection.
be
Yeah.
prevention. It should be
They
prevention.
showed up. This lady showed up with a net, which was very sinister looking. And she was like, where is it? And I was like, well, it's kind of been a bit everywhere, to be honest. It was like, it was next to that bin, then it was in the car park, and I was like, right, if it's in the car park, it's definitely getting munched at some point then.
Yeah.
Then it walked past the house, and now I don't know where it is. And she's like, well, I'll have a look for it for 5 minutes, but if I can't find it, then, is what it is. And I'm like, 5 minutes?
So I wasted
You're
my
gonna,
day
like,
for this.
Aren't you the people that are supposed to be rescuing animals?
They're shocking, man.
I don't know, man.
It's not RSB or something like that.
I had no idea. I had the phone number for it. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, but that seagull didn't get saved, so it started as MIA, munched in action. So
Munched in action.
That's another t-shirt.
yeah,
Take it as you will.
That would be unfortunately the Chihuahua.
yeah. Would a cull even solve the seagull problem at this point? It feels like we've let this grow to such an epidemic that even a cull, there's still going to be so many of them.
Oh, they're like hiding behind wheelie bins. Well, I'll have to check behind wheelie bins.
They just get smarter.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Check behind your sheds, people.
Covert operations.
Poking its wee beak out. Is it safe?
They'd be wearing their little black turtlenecks when they're flying about.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
But like,
Going to
but there's
MI6.
so many of them. Like, how many would you estimate there's in Lossiemouth?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah, literally thousands.
So even if like what you take, let's just say
If we killed 5,000, we would still be sat here now saying we still have a massive problem.
yeah.
Like we need to kill I would say about 10,000 at least.
Do you think there's 10,000 in Lossie?
I think there's probably more.
Wow.
It's where I work
I mean,
beside the
admittedly,
beach. It's
yeah.
brutal up there.
Like, we do cover a lot more land than what people think. I know the edge of town is there, but if you still include the fields, and we've got all the new areas getting built and the raft camp, that's all Lossie.
Yeah, true.
And we've got all the way to Silver Sands. That's still Lossie, Kane.
Yeah, I know a guy, John. I don't know if he's still working on the camp, but his job was to basically hide in the field beside the runways, or hide in the fields beside the runways. And he wasn't allowed to shoot the seagulls, but just let off a shot to scare them for the planes taking off or coming in. But I would have thought kind of the noise of the jets would have done that.
But sometimes it disturbs air pressures and all that, and that's what birds kind of read, isn't it? So if they get caught up in the air pressure of the plane, that's when they start getting sucked in the engine. Yeah, or they end up just panicking and flying at the plane, and that's what you see on these horror films where all these birds are coming in the window and the pilot's like, ah! Imagine all that being the seagulls and Lost, and it's just a jet fighter, and he's just like, what? It's a car coming at you.
Day's ruined.
Yeah, I mean, look, the council ain't going to do anything
They're
about
not.
it, are they?
They're really not.
I'm not, I get that seaside birds are a part of culture, a part of the
yeah,
environment,
yeah,
and all
we all
that.
get that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not one of these people that's like,
I don't want them to go extinct.
yeah, but it's an infestation.
Yeah, it
There's
is an
no other way
infestation.
to describe it at
They're
this
an actual
point.
pest.
Exactly it.
Like we were just saying, you were just saying, if we took 5,000 out, we'd probably still have an issue. So, like a cull might not even, it might better the problem for like a year.
But this is why
But
this is why it needs to keep happening. Like they do on the base, they need to keep doing it annually. If they target main areas inside the town, like this area of town, since it's not so close to the sea, why the hell are they here?
Yeah,
They shouldn't be here because this is where they're feeding it all from the co-op. Okay, and so from the co-op up to probably Hythe Hill, all that stuff could be fine to just get seriously culled, get them all out of there.
Getting attacked and
Push them towards where they should be, the sea, the coast. Keep them down at the heart. I don't. Yeah, the fishermen may get annoyed, but I mean, unfortunately, they've been dealing with that problem for years. They have to deal with that problem out at sea. But if it's out at sea, that's where the birds should be. So technically, you're in their fishing spot. You know, so
Bars, man.
that's it. That's it.
Rhyming accidentally there. So here's some more local stories about gulls. So a story from the Press and Journal in 2015. A Moray woman who was left bruised and bloodied by an aggressive gull claims her town is living in fear of increasingly violent birds. This is like, what, 2015, 6 years ago now?
I'd still agree with that now.
I fully agree with that,
I won't name her. The person was attacked as she walked her dog through Bucky's Merson Park on Tuesday evening. She said the gull looked her in the eye before swooping so forcibly towards her that it left her upper lip bleeding, swollen and bruised.
And to get uppercutted by a seagull.
Yeah, just the wing. Just
sort of wire cutted.
Well, apparently that's what they tried to do. They tried to land on you and whack out the side of your head and that.
That's crazy, man. Well, that's the like. They all like the experts say like, oh, like protect your eyes because like it's the most vulnerable part. I'm like protect your head in general because it's like that's what they're gonna go for, and it's it
is what they
the
go
most
for.
important part of your body most of the time.
Yeah.
That revealed that others were so afraid of similar attacks they had taken to walking around with umbrellas in all weathers. See, that's the thing. Experts also say, look, use an umbrella. But it's like, do you really have to use an umbrella in your own street when it's like 35 degrees?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not being funny,
shade.
like, I don't particularly want to have to carry around an umbrella at the best of times.
Yeah.
I find it more of a nuisance because if it stops raining, then you look like a plonker just carrying this stupid umbrella about for no reason. And everyone's like, just buy an extendable one. If you want to buy a wifey's umbrella, then you do that. If I'm buying an umbrella, it's going to be a big manly bugger.
Just buy an extendable.
Which can be used as like a walking stick, you know? Like,
I've never
but this, I've got years to go until I can pull that off.
Boys and girls' umbrellas. I just thought umbrellas and umbrellas.
Yeah, it seems like...
That used to be
I don't know.
Just, sorted. I've got a hood.
I've got a hood.
I'll just use my hood.
So the person said the attack happened while she was walking her Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Jackson. That was a mouthful.
That sounds like a fancy dog.
King Charles Spaniel.
She said, we must have been near the gull's young, and they began to... That's another thing. You don't have to be close to the gull's young for them to attack.
You just need to be in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Well, when I get swooped on the way here, I said I was a baby seagull, but it was up across the road from me. I was nowhere near it. And the adult seagull, I don't know if it was the mum or the dad, didn't see if I had a willy.
I wasn't finding it.
I wasn't getting that close, game. I just stood over. I just felt this like gust of wind over my head, and I was like, Jesus Christ, seagull. And I was like, nowhere near you.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and like, it's crazy like the force they generate when they do go by your head. Because when I got attacked in Community Way, its wing must have literally been like this away from my head. And I didn't even realize it was getting attacked at the time. I thought maybe it just misjudged its flight pattern or whatnot. But then obviously when it came back and started like screeching, I was like, oh, this thing has a problem. So I got my folder out and was like, I remember like someone was going by like, what are you doing? I'm like, trying to defend myself from seagulls.
I'm just fanning this seagull. It looked a bit hot.
I'd be like, I'm trying to batter this thing that's swooping me.
One bird then started to circle me, and while hovering in mid-air in front of my face, it looked me right in the eye. Could go back to the UFOs thing here. It's like, are seagulls UFOs?
Oh, that's it. Are they a higher life?
It all happened so quickly, but the next thing I knew, it had flown right into my lip. Jesus.
That's a very precise.
It's like looking at him like,
yeah. I actually seen the photo of this lady in the Press and Journal, and her lip was proper like, like someone like punched you and your lip split. It was like probably a worse version of that.
Yeah.
So, well, if you think about it, gulls are big and it's a beak first, isn't it? Yeah. And that goes.
They're not exactly blunt with their beaks either.
It was so painful. I feel
very bad for that woman.
Very bad for that woman. She's a very bad woman.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you battered by a seagull.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was so painful I was in tears and I couldn't believe the shock of it. It was only later I realised that there was blood dripping from where it attacked me. if it had landed just a few inches higher up, it would have taken my eye out with the force of that peck.
Well, yeah, that's not a lie, is it? That's actually fact.
Yeah.
You'd be blind if one of those things went straight through your eyeball.
Definitely,
Yeah.
man.
And it feels like it's going to take something like that for them to actually take this problem seriously.
Yeah, no. But let things go too far until it gets to the point where someone's severely injured.
Yeah.
And then we're going to deal with it, which is what we always tend to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we always act too late, right? It's just common in human nature.
Always.
I've had them swoop at me closely in the past, but nothing like this. Since that happened to me, a few people have approached me to say they have suffered similar attacks. Some folk are even going around with umbrellas at all times to protect them from the gulls swooping down at them, which, I suppose it is effective, but again, it's like, do you know what I mean?
Why should you have to?
Exactly.
Why?
Like, wearing a full body armor suit would protect you from getting bitten by a Rottweiler, but that's not mandated.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, walk around with this suit on just in case you get attacked by birds. Well, that's not happening.
I just worry about what could happen to a young child or an old person. Like, this is very legit concerns. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen an old person actually died from a seagull attack down in England somewhere.
I did hear of an old woman being physically attacked by one because it had landed on her. They kind of come from behind and they landed obviously. Unfortunately, most old people like to lean over a bit, so they kind of create a bit of a landing pad. So this bird took full advantage of that and was full on just pecking at the back of her head and on top of her head and stuff. And yeah, she was bleeding.
And this gets even sadder when you read this. So the lady in question contacted NHS 24 that evening because she's injured, right? But said she was too shaken to attend hospital despite being urged by medical experts. No, I'm good, thank you very much. The following morning, she visited her local doctor and was given a tetanus injection because obviously that's what they have to do when you're. Is it just by any animal that you're being?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, any animal or
is it
sharp object.
Is it like preventing
infections?
Yeah. I'm placed on antibiotics to stave off.
Tuberculosis.
No, it's tetanus. It's actually stop you.
Well, flu's quite rife in birds, isn't it?
And birds like to carry all sorts of diseases.
Yeah.
All sorts.
To stave off bacteria in our system following the incident. Here we go. The Moray Council social services worker. I don't know why they have to put the person. I'm going to cut that bit out because it's just revealed their job title. I didn't realise that's where it was going.
Just go for it. I'll leave it in.
And although she was wounded by one of the birds, she's in favour of them remaining in the town. I don't dislike gulls at all, which I don't think we hate gulls just for them being gulls. We hate them because of the way that...
Because they're a nuisance.
Yes.
It's their arseholes.
Instead, she urged residents to take action to discourage the birds from urban areas by limiting their access to food. Now, that's the thing. You're very much going to be penalised if you are caught harming a seagull, disposing of a seagull of your own that's attacking you, or moving the nests, all this kind of stuff that people would probably argue should be in their hands because it's their property most of the time that they're dealing with. But how many people do you see feeding seagulls?
A lot.
And nothing happens.
Yeah, quite a few.
So if one side is going to be penalised so hard, why is the other side just allowed to continue that's causing the problem?
Well, that's it.
But is that... I don't even think it's necessarily that's just causing the problem. I think the numbers in general are leading to this.
Yeah, the numbers in general are definitely... That's the biggest issue is because we're outnumbered to the birds. We are outnumbered to them. Easily, I'd probably say 10 to 1.
Yeah.
It's just utter madness. I agree with what you said. I don't particularly want to have to harm them. But it's gotten to the point where... during certain seasons, some of us don't want to leave our houses, or I don't walk down certain streets.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't leave the house.
And you can imagine all these people who buy, you see them, they start nesting on people's cars, and when people try to get into the car, they're getting spat at and all sorts by these birds because they're just stay away from our nest, and you're like, piss off, this is my car. Get it.
Was it Friday? Friday when I was at work. I was having a cigarette. And there was 2 baby seagulls. One sat in my bonnet, one sat in the roof of my motor. And I was why? No, I just seen a bit of poo slide down my windscreen. That was it. I'm going to have to clean that.
That should be the advert for In Favour of a Call, just you watching the baby seagulls.
Just shit in the windscreen of my car, and I'm like...
I'm gonna have to clean that. And then like that big booming voice in advert was like, would you like to have to clean that?
Yeah.
Vote in favour of the Seagull coal. You know what I mean?
Has your car been shot on by a seagull? Sign this petition now.
Aye, seagull pie.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so the last thing that I have on this is the Forest Gazette encouraged local people. We also encouraged local people to get in touch with their stories, which none of them decided to do.
I know, right? People liked it, and you're like, that's great. And you tagged someone and mentioned one thing, and it's like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Thanks
and
for
then
that.
what was it? Like Hoover something, which is not really a story. That's just a bunch of random words.
Yeah, that's what I was on about.
Anyway.
Like, okay.
Okay. I don't know.
Hoover
no
sales
idea.
went out or something. I can't mind. Yeah, I was like, that's great context.
We don't speak in riddles on this
Yeah.
podcast. We believe in truth over fact.
I was good.
Oh, Joe. You silly goose.
Still need that cardboard cut out of him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll have him on. Don't worry. It's coming. The website, the T-shirt, the Joe Biden cardboard cutout. It's all going to be here soon. Right. So anyway, this the first one's from Elgin. I've not had a whole night's sleep for months. Oh, for 4 months.
I know, we can hear them in the
they're
background.
literally
here, people.
interrupting us right now. Meanwhile, my elderly neighbours are frightened to go outside. There's noise at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, even though those times are in the morning.
They are.
The gulls are swooping down. There's mess over cars and drives. And there's thumping on our roof. Are they wearing clogs or something like that?
Doing the horizontal shuffle on their clogs.
I still have to work in the mornings, pay community tax and site fees as I live in the Ashgrove area. So this is a good point. Like, we're paying fees towards trying to keep the community.
Now I understand better why he has them on his roof now as well.
Yeah. I totally agree that the Moray Council will have to do more to rid the population of this problem. Well, we've already kind of championed for the Moray Council to
actually
do a
do
little
something.
bit more. Sorry, Moray Council, we've went a bit hard in the paint.
Stop having
today.
so many breaks and do some work.
All the shop, I've never seen Elgin in such a state. All the shop windows up in the shopping centre are covered in the gulls' droppings. People's cars, I thought they were about to say people's cars were turned over. I was like, Jesus, it isn't that bad. Yeah,
Rioting in the street.
They're violent,
Give us
but
your
they're not
food.
that violent. Seagulls flipping cars.
That's it. Give us your food.
people's cars all over Moray are covered in their droppings, and they're also screeching at all hours, keeping folk awake. I think a call is required. Also, if you try and get in touch with the council to complain about it, no one will answer the phone. This is true. As they are all working from home and hoping someone else answers it. Do you think that's what the council are literally doing? They're all working at home. They're like, wait a minute, if I just leave that, someone else will get it, and I won't have to work.
That's not how it works. It goes to your number first and then registers as a missed call.
I can have more coffee.
And listen to the seagulls.
It's time they return to work and sorted out these problems. So this person's going in hard in the paint in the council as well. So at least we're not alone in that. Or maybe it's time people withheld their council tax payments until these issues are solved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Highly agree with that.
Yeah.
I've got a local Lossy person here. Excellent. The seagulls are just as bad here in Lossymouth. There has to be a cull. It's the only way to keep them down. I like how we're trying to oppress them at this point.
Well, we need to. They need to be oppressed because they're
getting a bit uppity.
they've almost got civil rights, man. You know when COVID was I think I did tell you this one, we might have forgotten. But when I was down in Gloucester for the first COVID, I remember when everything was super extreme, like tier 4 or whatever it was, and I was like, oh my god, only allowed out for one trip a day. So I go to the shop, and all I see is seagulls at every restaurant window on the outside, looking in, pecking at the window.
Yeah.
Just
Where's my chips and cheese, you dick?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's looking. They know the food sources, and they're like, "Fires my food." Okay, fires my. Well, they're in Gloucester, so they're not Scottish, but hi, still the same thing. Fires my food.
Some of the size of the baby ones as well, man. There's one out the back there.
It's like a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah.
They're mahoosive.
It's like a swan.
I literally seen a swan in a field the other day.
Hey,
What?
Chilling in a field in the farms. One swan.
don't fuck with swans.
Nice.
No, I wasn't in the field, was I? I was driving past it, but
And them things can be terrifying.
Aye, they are.
Go near a cygnet. Oh, yeah, bugger.
Aye.
You only want to go close enough just to snap a photo, and then you want to run away. But
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
point, they're like, nah.
Okay, so we've got a dude from Mistodlock here. It's going the other way this time, so we're probably going to pick this one apart.
Or you can just get to Fook.
I understand that some people may be intimidated by the gulls, but I'm thoroughly sick of them being castigated when it's us humans that have brought this upon ourselves.
You live in a Stodlock. You have like 2 streets there. Bugger off. You know.
Most of the gulls we have in our midst are herring girls, and they are here because we feed them by leaving so much rubbish, including uneaten food. They can hardly be blamed for clearing up after us. They're doing a bit more than... I literally saw
They
one
caused
eat
the
the
terror.
cardboard of a crate of Stella.
Yeah, they caused the terror.
That pulled
to
it
make
out
people
of a
drop their food.
bin that was closed. The gull opened the bin, pulled the crate of Stella out, and ate the cardboard.
Like, we've all watched them like tip over like wheelie bins to the point where, you know, when they pull on the bag that much, and they pull over the wheelie bin, and it goes everywhere. And you're going on about mess that we leave? No. It's like,
you.
yeah,
Take a
get
wee-
in the bin.
Take a wee look
Yes.
around any fast food outlet and you'll see what I mean. Secondly, if we didn't have gulls, we might have other less desirable rodents running around.
I'm alright with that. Well, I'm not.
I don't see them eating rats. I see them
No.
eating chihuahuas.
Exactly,
You
right?
know, like
Maybe
bigger
that's what he
things.
means. Maybe he doesn't like dogs, man.
But that's,
Yeah, well,
maybe.
double fuck him then.
Yeah.
We are so arrogant in believing that our lives are so much more important than the creatures we share this planet with. As for reducing their numbers, really? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really? Like, if you take a bucket full of water out of the sea, does the level drop noticeably? Killing even a few thousand gulls will make a negligible difference in their presence, which, okay, we can agree on that point.
Yeah. We need to kill more than just a few.
Please, let's just get along with nature and get rid of our superiority complex. Now,
I think that person might cuddle trees.
I bet he's never seen a seagull.
yeah, I don't think he lives in any area that's maybe infested with them.
Exactly.
Well,
He lives inland.
yeah.
It's like, let's take this into. He says, let's get along with nature. We're not exactly getting along with them now, are they?
Yeah.
They're trying to peck people's eyes out.
They're
That's
causing
not exactly
physical harm.
civil, is it?
Exactly.
That's not how you make friends.
Nah, definitely no.
And you can be like, oh, but they're doing it to protect their young.
If I went up to kick one of their babies, I would understand why I was getting swooped.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I'm nowhere near their babies because their baby's in the middle of the road, flat as a pancake, and I've had nothing to do with the situation, but I'm the one still getting attacked, there's a problem.
And the council can't pick it up because guess what?
It's not their jurisdiction.
Thought we'd get that in there one more time.
Yeah.
Mic drop, exit stage left.
Just bye. Fuck seagulls. that's the final thing I'm saying.
And on that note, our hour of ranting and raving and complaining and actually, you know what? We'll have a little talk about something at the end. Nothing to do with seagulls, but I've spoke to Richard Lockhead, who's the local MSP, and Douglas Ross. Everyone knows him. Didn't cut the grass, whatever. You know, everyone was raging at him for not cutting the grass or something, and no one really likes him. Well,
I don't know.
have you seen his Facebook page?
No.
There's not a lot of good comments in there, man.
I don't. I've seen him. But I've
Yeah.
Never searched him
He's
up.
not a popular politician. I mean, none of them really are, but like, he's like one that's held in high regard as unlikable. But either of them,
the biggest turd on the pile.
well, yeah,
Perhaps.
not our opinion because we don't know the dude.
That's true.
This is just from what we're
We know
seeing.
seagulls and we hate them.
Yeah. So Richard Lockhead, Douglas Ross, we're challenging you to come on the northeast corner to finally sort this problem out.
You're going down. To Seagull Town.
And yeah, you're coming on. Yeah. I might even cut that because that was too cringe.
That was too crazy.
Sort the seagulls or I'll fucking sort you.
No, but you're getting challenged. We
Yes.
will challenge you.
Please come on for a civil conversation.
And explain to us why we
Why
need to leave seagulls
nothing
alone.
can be done about it, and why everyone's just allowed to continue to get their eyes pecked out and lips burst.
You
and
can
everything.
mess with a whole country's education during COVID, but you cannot sort like a seagull problem.
Yeah, I
Cause
know,
yourself debt all the time, but you can't solve a problem which has been pre-existing for a long ass time. You know?
Yeah.
And one that people are constantly messaging you about.
Exactly. Boom.
Before we go on an unrelated topic, did we see that our old friend Jeremy Kyle's back?
I did spy that. What's he up to? Is he
He's
coming on?
he's got it. Not yet. He's apparently decided to give his first interview to Talk Radio, which I think he must have watched the first episode. Because why would he go out of his way to go and Talk Radio when he could have came here? We challenged him to come on here. He's
didn't
officially
accept the beef.
turned down the challenge.
Far to the beef.
Fuck me.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that Talk Radio are probably paying him,
Yeah.
and he's going to make a bigger name for himself.
We can pay him in laughs and fun.
Yes, and conversation. I don't know.
And
Like,
cider, I don't know. Does he still drink?
I have no idea. Does he ever have an alcohol problem? I know
No,
he had a
no,
gambling-
no. He's got mental health problems now, doesn't he?
Yes.
Because of what he done.
Well, do you know what's mental? I know this is not really about Jeremy Kyle, but we're just ending it off, rounding it up, blah, 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 blah. Tangent corner. He was like saying, oh, I felt like I was hunted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Dude, the Kyle files, that's what you done.
I was like, dude, I was like,
Quite the opposite, I believe.
like you literally hunted people on your show for 15 years or however long the show was going.
Just made them feel like absolute tools. Some of them were absolute
Yeah, exactly,
tools.
right? But like,
But-
if someone's going through difficulties, probably I'm not a medical practitioner.
You
but
don't prod the bear.
I would hazard a guess that getting a person with severe difficulties in their life in front of a live studio audience and a national TV audience, like
And then
10
playing
million,
it up.
and then like making fun of them, probably doesn't help.
That's another program I don't understand. That embarrassing bodies.
Oh,
You're,
don't.
you're
Yeah.
embarrassed about it. Why go on the fucking telly?
Mm.
It's,
These people must get paid for it.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, 100%.
They must. It's not just, it's because they get it for free. They're going to get it for free if they go to hospital anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
We pay our
We're in the
damn
UK.
taxes.
We're lucky. You know, we're
Yeah.
lucky we have
I see
NHS.
national insurance is going up, is it?
Yeah.
Topic for a different time, but
Yeah.
seagulls, get in the bin.
Seagulls. Fuck off.
Yeah. So yeah,
It's been fun.
episode 19 of the Northeast Corner is done. Jeremy, that offer's still open.
And
Come
you-
on the Northeast
and
Corner.
you, Douglas. Watching.
Yeah. Jeremy Kyle.
Richard.
Jeremy Kyle can come on and talk about seagulls. We
yeah,
don't
man.
care.
You'll
We need
have
the
some
views
stories.
at this point.
It would just tell Seagulls to get a job.
Pretty much, yeah.
How do you feel, seagulls? How do you think you've done? How dare you do this to them? You tell them, Jeremy.
I'm on talk radio now. We're open thinkers over here. But I do agree with him on one thing where he said that there was a lot more people on the show that hadn't been. I mean, like, obviously he's the face of it, so he's going to take more flack for it than anyone else. But there's obviously like a lot of sketchy stuff that was going on in that show. That,
Oh, yeah.
you know, but then again, he didn't go to the MP's inquiry. We already discussed this. We're going back to episode 1. Doesn't matter. We've covered this. Anyway, we'll see you in episode 20.
Take care from the NEC.
See you later, guys, and stay fresh, cheese bags. I've not said that in a while.
This podcast is also available on Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Spotify.